Welcome back to the channel, my friends. Warhammer Man Studios. I'm Warhammer Man, and today we're taking a look at this week's pre-orders, and they are live. This video is sponsored by CMO Games. More on that later. Alright, so we got this week's pre-orders up here. And again, it is sort of weird because Games Workshop has implemented the 2-week pre-order period. So we're going to not only be seeing the stuff that's just going live now, but also last week's pre-orders as well, which includes like all of the Necron and Adeptus Mechanicus stuff. So as we can see, all of that stuff is here. We'll go ahead and scroll on down there because the big releases for this week are the Flesh Eater Courts box set and then also the Legion Mark 6 Assault Squad. So we do see the 10-man Assault Squad priced at $70, which if we compare that to the Assault Intercessors with jump packs that just came out for $40K, you get 5 of those Assault Intercessors in a box and they were priced at $60. As where the Mark 6 Assault Marines, you get 10 for $70. So we really are seeing like the big difference between how the Horus Heresy stuff is priced versus 40K. Now, obviously 40K is the flagship game, but all these models are brand new. They were all recently created, manufactured, etc. So it is sort of strange how much of a price discrepancy there is. Now, with the actual 40K like Assault Intercessors with jump packs, they do come with like your heavy weapons and stuff like for your Sergeant, etc. As where with the Mark 6 stuff, they come with the special weapons for your like Sergeant, but also they sell the upgrade packs, which I guess they sell the upgrade packs for 40K as well. So I don't really know why there's so much discrepancy between price, other than Games Workshop is going to charge as much as they can for what people will pay. But just interesting to really look at the breakdown, seeing like two kits that are very, very similar in nature come out and there to be that much difference in price. Because if we just bought 10 of those Assault Intercessors with jump packs, we'd be looking at like $120 compared to the $70 here, which is obviously a crazy difference. Almost double the price. But moving on here, we have the White Dwarf $4.95. Some new special rules for Kill Team, a couple other like cool things in there as well. But this is the big one, I think, or the one that I'm most excited about, which is the Flesh Eater Courts Army set. Now, obviously, we're pretty close towards the end of the edition here, so the book is not going to get a ton of love, ton of life out of it. Same with the cards as well. But let's be real. I'm not really excited for the rules as much as I am for the actual models. Now, I know if this is your army, you're definitely excited for the rules. I'm sure you've looked at some of the reviews already. I haven't had a chance to as they go live typically on the pre-order day. So I'll check those out throughout the day today and then we'll have a better idea if the rules are actually good or strong, if we're seeing that rules creep, etc. But the fact of the matter is these models are absolutely beautiful. And depending on how these things are priced, like the individual kits inside this box set, this could be like an amazing deal. And I think the real question is going to be, with the new ghouls, and again, I have not been calling them like the correct name. I've just been calling them the new ghouls, but they don't replace the old ghouls. They're just ghouls with weapons now instead of like bones and skulls and claws. So that being said, you get 20 of the new ghouls in this set. The current ghouls that are in the range, you get 20 for $45. So I would assume that however these are going to be packaged, whether it's 10 or 20, they're going to be priced probably at like $55 or $60. And I would assume that it's going to be 10 in a set. If we're to compare them to like the recent stuff that came out for Sigmar, and by Sigmar I mean Cities of Sigmar, it would make a lot of sense that Games Workshop is going to be charging for 10 of these in a box set. So if we just say hypothetically it's going to be $55 for 10, that's $110 just for the new ghouls. I would say probably $60 for the new Bat Cavalry. So that's like $170. And then each of these characters is probably going to be around like $35 to $40. So that's like $240 in models. And then on top of that, you've got your book in there, which is going to take you about $295, and then the cards for $35. So it is about $330 in product, which is about a 40% discount roughly, a little closer to like 31% over buying all of the individual items. And typically with these boxes, Games Workshop offers about 30 to 35% discount. So if this is in fact like 39% discount, this is a really good deal over what they normally offer. And with some of the newer like Combat Patrol boxes, we've seen the savings like real low, closer to like 25%. So it may be that like, especially for 40K, we're going to see less and less discounts going forward over MSRP, even when they're packaged into these boxes. But that being said, of course, all of this changes if Games Workshop does in fact release these new ghouls in like packs of 20. But I just don't think that that's going to be likely. Now, it is possible again, and we do see here like 10 of them with the double-handed like halberds, and then we see like 10 of them with like the swords, etc. And I think they're really nice models. We know roughly what size they're going to be because they're basically going to be similar in size to the current ghouls. And I think comparing the quantity that you get in a box set to like the Cities of Sigmar stuff that's just released probably makes more sense than comparing them to like the existing ghouls in the range. So that being said, really cool box right here. Absolutely beautiful models. Every single sculpt in this set is new. Obviously the book is new, but again, it has a little bit of a limited life cycle as we come towards the end of the edition. And then of course, like the cards and everything like that, we know will probably be invalidated as soon as the new rules for like the new edition comes out as well. But very, very cool set. Obviously it is limited while stocks last, 2-week pre-order period. I don't know how fast this is going to sell out. Typically with these, they'll sell out on Games Workshop's website, but then we'll see them floating around the internet. And assuming they don't all get snatched up like right away, as the edition comes to an end, we'll probably see them for sale much cheaper. But if you're after these models, if you're excited for them and you don't want to miss out on this deal, I wouldn't hesitate because we really don't know how many Games Workshop has actually made. So very cool box set. Definitely looking forward to that. And I'll be adding one of those to my collection. And then moving on, we have the Vaults of Terra Collection. So this is the limited edition special order item right here. $160 for this. And it's like the 3-book set with the cool little case to go in. Very nice. Obviously the quality and everything. Now, if you're not into like these particular books, obviously this is irrelevant to you. But these collector sets do tend to sell out pretty quickly. And this one is written by Chris Wright and limited to just 1,500 copies and signed as well. So typically with these, we do see them go pretty quickly. All right, and then moving on here, we see the Grotmas Gitz right here. So $40 for this guy. Very cool model. Obviously very seasonal as he's munching on the presents. He's got like the Santa Claus sack right there. And then we got his little grot buddy. Definitely a big fan of this. I love squigs. So naturally, I didn't even notice this guy on the base there as well. But very, very cool. Super awesome model. Very thematic. Very fun. Pretty much what you would expect for these like themed Christmas minis. And again, yeah, I didn't even notice he's got like the little paintbrush in his hand, tiny little Citadel paint pot, a Space Marine falling out of there, another Git inside the bag. I mean, there is just like so much character loaded up in this guy. Very, very cool. Definitely a fan. Now a quick message from today's sponsor. CMO Games has been selling Games Workshop products online for over 20 years. They carry the full line of Games Workshop products, including Warhammer 40,000, Age of Sigmar, Necromunda, Blood Bowl, paint tools, and more. Almost all Games Workshop products are priced at 15% off MSRP. CMO Games takes pre-orders for most Games Workshop products released at their earliest date possible. 12:01 a.m. on Saturday, they go live. Most of these pre-order products are also priced at 15% off MSRP. CMO Games offer free shipping in the US 48 with an order of $50 or more. Their customer service is top-notch and they ship most orders within 24 hours. Visit CMOGames.com using the affiliate link in the description and let them know that you heard about CMO Games from Warhammer Man. Now back to the video. All right, and then we do see the Kill Team Tech Ops cards. The new approved ops cards still in stock. So that is definitely a good sign, as in the past we have seen them sell out really quickly. But part of that might have to do with just like the loss of hype for Kill Team and warcry. Just because of how Games Workshop has handled like the last year and the like failed seasons, etc. I know I personally have been a lot less excited about Kill Team. I've been playing it a lot less. I went from literally buying every purchase for Kill Team ever made since its inception to not buying some of the more recent purchases. And that's also the case for warcry. So Games Workshop has successfully stopped me from purchasing literally everything. And now I'm just picking and choosing. And I would imagine there's a lot of other people out there that were less excited about Kill Team to begin with than I am. So I would imagine those people are even less excited about Kill Team and warcry now. Next, we got the new Citadel color tufts. So the red tufts, I would imagine this is going to be the first of the sort of like vibrant new colorful tufts. I would imagine Games Workshop did some kind of like number crunching or market research to determine what was like the next most popular tuft, what could be the next most successful tuft for them to offer, and landed on red. That's a little bit surprising to me, but I know people do use red tufts for like Mars bases or like various stuff. They're supposed to fit in with like the new setting in Sigmar, so maybe that's why they're up here. But interesting choice. Personally, not a fan myself. I actually really prefer tufts also where there's like more of like a color shift from like the base to the tips because it adds a lot more excitement. It's very rare that you see like something in nature that is like just this vibrant and just consistently like bright red. But I guess since we live in the fantasy universe, or at least our minis do, maybe that's why. But moving right along here, we got some of the books left over from last week. The special edition codexes, the collector's edition, sold out almost instantly. But that being said, the only one of the new models that actually sold out from last week's pre-orders is Emotech the Stormlord. Very cool. I like the new sculpt. I know some people have preferred like the old sculpt. And that being said, speaking of Necrons, while we're here, my brother and I actually busted out the Necron Combat Patrol and played some games throughout the week. We actually got in like 3 games. We played Space Marines versus the Necrons. And in the first game, the Necrons completely waxed the Space Marines almost instantly. And then the next 2 games, the Space Marines just completely dominated the Necrons. So definitely very, very swingy. I think that they are probably like a better matchup than most because the Space Marine Combat Patrol is extremely strong. As a matter of fact, if anyone was getting into Combat Patrol or getting into the game and wasn't necessarily the most skilled player, whether it's tactics or knowing the rules, etc., I would 100% recommend for them to use the Space Marine Combat Patrol. Not to actually go out and buy the Space Marine Combat Patrol because it's a complete ripoff. You basically pay full price for the minis and get no discount. But obviously, like the Leviathan set has all the Space Marines in it. So I would go with either a Leviathan or the Leviathan half Space Marines, or else the new starter set that has the 2 combat patrols and then, of course, the terrain as well. But anyway, this video isn't really about Combat Patrol, but just figured I would share with you guys. So far, we have played a ton of games of Combat Patrol, and the Space Marines have done absolutely phenomenally. We are in the middle of getting the Dark Angel Combat Patrol together, though, so that's going to be a really fun matchup. Not only against the Space Marines, but the Necrons as well, as the Combat Patrol for the Dark Angels has that Redemptor Dreadnought, and he is just an absolute beast. I think a lot of the other Combat Patrol is going to have trouble dealing with him, but I do think that's going to fall right in like the top tier with the Space Marines and Necrons as well. And if you are interested in Combat Patrol or would be interested in seeing some of these battle reports that we're putting together, let me know so we can tell like how much interest there is in the community. We've been having a ton of fun playing the Combat Patrol games. Been knocking out some of the games like sub 1 hour. Some of the closer, like more tactical games though, have taken a little bit longer, closer to like the 2 hour or slightly over mark. But very, very fun. I definitely recommend Combat Patrol for anybody that's looking to get someone into the game that hasn't played before, or if you're just looking for some like tactical, fun, quick games. Combat Patrol is awesome. So yeah, that's going to pretty much wrap it up for this week's pre-orders. Not a ton coming out this week, but that Flesh Eater Quartz box is really cool. I know there's a lot of people that are really excited about those Assault Marines for Horus Heresy as well. Been patiently waiting on them since the release over a year ago. Let me know what you're most excited about, what you're going to be picking up. Are you after that limited edition book set? You going all in on those Flesh Eater Quartz? Have you had a chance to watch some of those reviews for all the Flesh Eater players that chimed in on the previous videos about the rules and everything like that? If you have had a chance to check out the codex or some of like the reviews or whatever, I'm curious how you think they stack up now that we have like the full picture compared to the previous codex, because I'm just not that familiar with them to know. And you guys are going to have a much more like accurate representation of if they've gotten much better or much worse than I am. But I do love the new units. I'm definitely looking forward to picking some of them up, painting some of them up, and expanding my small little Flesh Eater Quartz army, which is in all reality much more of like a D&D mini collection. But that being said, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up there. Special thanks to CMO Games for sponsoring the video. As always, check out the link in the description to save 15% on Games Workshop products. That's it for today. Warhammer Man Studios, I'm Warhammer Man, and this has been an absolutely stellar year for new releases as far as Games Workshop models are concerned. And I'm out of here.